You missed the button.
Good
Okay,
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday night sci-fi Shadow Chat. Tonight we are going to be talking about transferred intelligence. Justin, how you doing?
good. You.
Uh,
Before we get to that, we could not hear like 90% of that song. You really gotta like upload it to YouTube, create a video, and just play it at the beginning.
yeah, Brian and I are working on it. Hold on a second. Part of it's probably the
You're
fan here.
holding it from your cell phone to a mic. You move it.
It's actually not the cell phone; it's a tablet.
Close enough.
It's weird because it's pretty loud here.
It doesn't matter if you angle it funny. The mic doesn't pick it up. It fades in
I
and
could
out.
actually find out where the frick the mic is on this laptop. And Brian, whenever you want to grace us with your presence, uh, I'll pop you in.
Hmm.
Excuse me. I also sent the link out to a few other folks there. Jackie might join us, but he is busy getting his video ready for tomorrow's upload. He's just about done. Bo, thank you. That what you did last night turned out perfect. It's uh
What did
it's
Bo
it's
do last?
almost as funny as Jackie's audio track of himself responding to you, or you know, what have you. But it's coming out just perfect. Uh,
What did Bo do last night?
he did an audio track for Jackie. Uh, got it perfect first time in like a minute. Jackie sent him the script. He read it in a particular way, and he did a great job.
Okay.
And I sent the link out to Omen and Raven. I don't know where she is. I should probably send her a message, tell her to get her ass in here if she wants to hang out with us weirdos. And
She's got to earn her nerd cred. She,
that's
she's
what I keep telling her.
she's got her creepy witch lady cred already.
Down pat.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd go as far as saying creepy,
all
but
Wiccan type folks are creepy, man. They got wolfsbane and stuff. They'll poison you.
she's actually got what is it, hemlock or some like deadly nightshade or some crap in her
Yeah,
yard. I was like, whoa, woman, don't
yeah.
don't be sending me any goodies, any treats, any brownies, any crap like that, because they're just gonna go right into the dumpster. Sorry. No, I'm teasing. She's actually sent me some really nice. She sent me a candy bar that had uh, bacon and potato chips in it. It was a chocolate bar with bacon and potato chips.
Bacon.
Yeah. And she sent me these things. I kid you not, they're like Pringles,
Yeah.
but they're dark chocolate.
Yeah. You can get those.
I'd never seen it before. I mean, we don't have a lot of certain things where I live. Dog, if you're
You
eating the
live in
carpet.
California. You should have all that stuff.
I live in a little town about 100 miles away from Los Angeles. We don't get a lot of anything up here. It's pretty sad sometimes.
Mm.
Um, you know what steakums are?
Steakums. They're like you tell me. I think I
Yeah,
know,
okay.
but
You ever had a Philly cheesesteak?
yeah.
It's that kind of really thin sliced beef.
Yeah.
Okay, camp steak used to be the same thing, and I just got the boys like to really enjoy those, and now I haven't been able to find them for a month.
Oh.
Uh, yeah,
Hmm.
they were really good. So,
My my mom's cousin, he died a few years ago after moving down there. But he used to work at the Kirkland meat packing factory.
oh really?
Kirkland, they do
Yeah.
Costco. They're like
Yeah.
Costco's, yeah. So we would get the cases of the flank steaks that they'd use to make those cheesesteaks that they put them on the grill and smash them down, and we get those for free.
Nice.
Just a
Nice.
case
Yeah.
of them periodically.
Well, Sam's Club, we don't do Costco, we do Sam's Club, but
Yeah, it's all the same shit.
yeah, it is. It is. And some of it's pretty good. Hold on a
Yeah,
second. I have to beat my dog. He's eating. Chewy, don't do
yeah,
that. Don't do that. There's no reason. Come here. He's literally like tearing at the carpet or something. It sounds like he's really just licking the carpet, which is just weird.
yeah. He wants some grass or something, probably.
He knows
Uh,
how to open the back door. He can go down and get it, but he's just not. He's
yeah.
just weird.
Hmm. Well, I sent Brian the Discord message. You
Yeah, and I
heard me.
just sent Raven. I also sent it to Omen. I sent it to Jackie. I sent it to Bo.
Hmm.
Hey, what's up, TCG?
Well, you might as well just put it in the chat there, and let TCG in. Maybe some weird shaved guy.
No, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Uh,
I, if certain people don't show up, then I will invite other people in. But
yeah.
for the moment, I don't want to do that just because I don't want them to feel like, oh, you invited me and then you leave me hanging in the green room. I've done that
Mhm.
before. James Eldo and Hungar, the only exceptions if they want to pop in. James has not been feeling good, so I didn't send him the link. But
Yeah.
and Hungar's out there somewhere doing Hungar things. I
I think
figured
he went for a nap.
wouldn't surprise me. I literally woke up about 20 minutes ago. So
You want to hop on Shadow's show? Send. Okay.
oh, what
I
did you
just
just? You didn't even type it. You just voiced it.
I just voiced it. I'm feeling
Cheap.
kind of tired, and I got the dyslexia, so the type I have, it gets kind of hard for me to think of spelling when I'm
Oh,
tired or stressed.
gotcha. I was in a pretty weird mood today. I don't know why. I had a pretty good day, but just everybody and everything around me was retarded.
Yeah, yeah, I know what that's like. Oh, so you want to get in on the topic while we're waiting these motherfuckers? I've
Yeah,
derailed enough. I was kind of
yeah, yeah,
stalling, but
yeah. Me too. I know. And I also want to keep my hands busy because uh, I know I don't know if Penny Warmuch doing a challenge, but that really lit a fire under my ass to get some stuff done. And I'm looking around and I found a whole bunch of things I
yeah.
purchased that I just didn't put together.
Oh yeah.
And I figured, you know what? Let's get some of that knocked out. Although I did go to a eBay seller that I really, really like going to. And literally last year, if I purchased, I think it was $40 worth of merchandise, I'd get free shipping.
Not anymore. Just can't do it anymore, huh?
It's $100,
Yeah.
but they sell a lot of Reaper metal minis for like $3 and $4 a piece, which is a steal, especially today. So I'm like, and I saw new things that were cheaper than I expected. So I'm just going to probably make $100 order
Hmm.
with them at some point. I don't know when exactly, but uh, there was some really good deals there. And I'm a big fan of Reaper's Chronoscope line, and I was showing off this this Sea Elf that I'd purchased like years ago. It was still in the blister pack, and then this old timey diving suit guy. So
Yeah.
I mounted them, primered them, and it was like, you know what? I wonder if there's anything new that I haven't seen from Reaper. So I went and I started adding stuff to my cart.
Yeah, that can get dangerous really fast.
Yeah, well, he also has bottles of Reaper paint for like less than $3, and so I added a couple of them because yellows and oranges are the colors that I have the most trouble with finding, like just the right color. They're always so just crap, And I really do like Reaper
Yeah.
paints, and Army painters are, some of them are okay, but they're I want to use up all my Army painter opaques and just get rid of them and never buy them again. I might try the new Fanatic line, but they're it's every time I buy from Army Painter, I want to just buy the complete set, like I did with the
Yeah, I got the
speed paints. And
160 paint set, the original mega
Mhm,
one,
mhm.
right? There were 26 duplicates, and I just sent them off the product numbers, and they just sent me the new ones, the missing, because like there's only
Because
so
someone
much
screwed
space.
up. Someone
Yes,
screwed up at the factory.
somebody put because they're in trays, right? So I think somebody put the same tray in twice or something.
Gotcha.
So they just sent me another one out.
Hey nerds,
Uh,
what's happening? We're just
hey,
talking, shooting the breeze right now. And I was gonna send the link to Bear, but I think he's doing like a movie party or something like that. And I'm like,
it's probably over if nerds shown up. Uh, I'm going to go check. Yeah, it looks like it's done.
so I didn't send it to him. But Bear, if you want to pop in and talk about brains and jars, you're more than welcome.
He's not watching, as
Oh,
far as
okay.
I know. He hasn't said hi in the chat.
Yeah.
But a nerd's nerd. I don't know how to send you a link. I don't think Shadow does either.
Actually, I could send it to her in Discord.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll do that because
Mm-hmm.
Brian is being a space cadet or something. Hold on a second, guys.
Mel is whipping him.
Wouldn't you know?
Wouldn't surprise.
I mean, it could be his turn. I don't know, or maybe that is his.
Nah, I don't think he's the dominant in the relationship.
I don't know. He's a big boy.
That don't mean nothing. Uh,
Hold on a second. I'm gonna check.
Intelligence. So what are good examples of transferred intelligence? Like how many
Well,
oolongs are you betting on Captain Kirk to
Spock's brain, but I think the earliest
well
one
oolongs
was
was the 3 brains in a jar that we're betting on who would fight.
Triskelion. Yes,
Yeah, I think it
but
was
before that, I believe Whisperer in the Darkness was
mm,
probably the H.P. Lovecraft story, where I think it was the MyGo
I
were
don't know.
they were taking people's brains and putting them in literally putting them in jars, and then carrying them through space to other planets. Make sure he's wearing pants. Yeah, definitely a
I'm
good
not.
idea.
You
Hold
are
on a second. I'm going to send Nerd the link.
Mhm. Wearing pants is for weirdos.
Well, I don't know about weirdos, but I think
Hungar,
Kilt's weirder.
do you want me to send Hungar the link?
Sure, I'm sure he's sleeping, or he would have come in.
No,
And
he just said hi in the.
did I miss
thing.
that? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Hungar. Get your ass in here. You can talk about brains in a jar. We'll find out
Copy link.
if he's already signed up for that process or.
Okay. Nerds.
Where the hell are you? I can't
Uh,
find her on Discord.
a nerds nerd?
Yeah.
She didn't accept my friend's request. Weird World War II is something in the chat. I don't know. What is this?
What the hell, nerds? Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Well, go let Brian in. He's all
here.
green roomed and stuff. Crafting Gamer's like, what the fuck am I watching?
What are you watching, indeed? There you go, Brian. Hey, what's happening?
Chuckleheads?
You're all chuckleheads. It is a good one. What's up, Brian?
Much now.
You're eating in the dark. Are you in trouble?
I'm shamefully eating in the dark.
I just ate a chocolate bar, but I got the light on, so I'm better than you.
As long as you're not crying and eating ice cream.
No, so Mel came home and she was hungry.
So she pulled out the whip to get in the kitchen.
Well, being a good husband that I am, I went out and got her some Taco Bell. But we just didn't have enough money for both of them, so I bought it for her.
You call that being a good husband? I thought
it's a ham sandwich and some pretzels for me tonight.
Bungar, how you doing, brother?
I got an issue.
Oh shit! What's up?
One, the Crafting Gamer wants a link.
So
give him a link. Number two, how the hell is Justin a fucking moderator on your channel and I'm not?
Because I'm responsible and respectful.
And I just called you and you didn't answer your phone.
Oh, because I didn't bring my phone up here because it is charging.
You're as bad as my brother, dude. My brother lost his phone for 3 days.
TCG, if anybody besides you takes this link,
I already sent it to him.
Okay. I will bitch slap him.
You can delete that from the chat. You can delete that from the chat. I just sent it to him on Discord. Unless a nerd's nerd wants it.
Is there already spankers?
So you put it on the screen where people can write it down.
I sent a nerd's nerd a link.
Just take it down, Shadow.
I don't know how.
Unlike certain Justin,
he's a victim of his own.
No, I mean, I'll click on it. Wait.
Unlike certain Justins, a nerd's nerd sent me a link for a friend's request on Discord.
Yeah, I know. I feel all kinds of disrespected and shit.
Insert name. I've got binders that would burn your soul.
Really?
No, we'll keep it civil.
And I made sure to the link Justin sent me because I wasn't touching anything you did have, Shadow.
Okay.
It would have sent you to a full fucking nudity.
Now I can block you, Shadow. I can report you, or I can I can't remove it on my hand.
How do I put you in timeout?
Me?
No.
You can't now. He's a fucking overlord.
No. Crafting Gamer. What's up, brother?
Not much.
You just woke up from your evening nap and chose violence, huh?
Yes, I did.
I was talking to TCG, but okay.
Oh, I've been sucking down energy drinks, so I haven't had a chance to nap.
I've taken 2 naps today.
You know what? I think I did too. Technically, hey, you know something's wrong when you wake yourself up with your own snoring.
Or your own farts, huh?
I know. I've never done that, but I've seen my dog do that. Oh, and I've been watching like these like funny animal videos just to, de-stress. Not that I actually have any stress, but just the news instead. Because Raven and I were having a cute animal war. We send each other cute animals because I can always just win with the red panda, and
You watch animal videos to de-stress? I watch FAFO videos to de-stress.
You watch what?
FAFO?
Fuck around, find out.
Yeah, I watch those videos. A lot of people get shot and killed, but I think that's funny.
Well, it's Raven, so I'm not going to send her, certain things. And I was watching this video of a dog, right? And Chewie starts growling.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
I just assume that everything Shadow is saying is code words for gay porn.
No,
he would
I'm
be
pretty sure
absolutely
Raven.
wrong.
I'm pretty sure Raven has seen more things than you could even imagine.
Hell yeah, like
I am
Bigfoot,
not even going to address
Yeti.
that comment because she's not here, and she will kill me later on in Nathan's show. I'm certain.
You see that link I sent Jack?
No, nobody opens links you send anyone.
No, wait.
Yeah,
you sent
open
it
that
to
shit.
him. How did
You'll
you send
love
it to him? Discord?
Yeah, it's on your Discord channel. You'll love it.
I'm sure he will add you to the
love
list
it.
of he will add you to the list of to be purged, and there will be nothing I can do about it.
Whatever.
Nah, he's a good
Last
kid.
time I sent Shadow a link, I know for a fact him and Jackie loved it because it was of it's technically over a British company that makes figures of comic book characters and also iconic movies, and they have I forgot his name already, but the Penguin from the live action Batman's.
Danny DeVito, yes, actually.
Yeah, Danny DeVito, the Penguin.
Burgess Meredith.
No.
So I know I've sent him safe links.
Every link I send is safe. Every single one.
So how many of you would opt for the
until you click on them?
No,
even
when you click on them.
I'm working on it already. They're transferring my intelligence into a Terminator body. You guys are fucked.
So you can take over the world just like
Barbobot. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's gonna look just like the miniature that a nerd made of me.
But 80 feet tall.
I instantly I thought,
and then he'll go around saying things like communism is dead. America will win.
No.
Do you guys remember the episode of Meatwad of Aqua Teen Hunger Force
when Meatwad got the robot suit?
Yeah, the episode where Carl's all made out of eyeballs.
Yeah.
We were talking about Carl earlier on yeah, man. Were you listening on my phone calls again?
Hey, no. I'm gonna go play video games with my brother.
Oh, I see how you are.
Well,
take care, Hungar.
Good luck
with the brain in a jar.
I'll join you later.
Catch me a dinosaur. Rawr.
Yeah, he was riding some sort of dinosaur the other day, like a D-Rex or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hungar.
I'm gonna go play Ark.
Yeah.
I hate that fucking game. Hi, Raven.
Hi. How you doing, Hungar?
How you doing, gorgeous?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. Having a little arachnophobia. I was trying a new setup with my equipment, and I had a flat screen TV that I had stored in the living room over in the back corner, and the spiders took it over and made a apartment complex out of it. And I literally had a black spider crawling up my leg, which just is enough to freak me out.
Spiders are good. Some.
Spiders are your friend, right?
Most part.
No, they're not.
Spiders are your friend. Nightshade, on the other hand, is not.
And the widows.
Yeah, it was solid black. I didn't look to see anything hourglass.
You will tell. You can tell a black widow because it looks fucking evil. It is just jet black. Look evil. And it's exceptionally evil looking.
Don't they have like a red hourglass or something on their butt?
Yeah, but I mean, you'll see it's all just like a glossy, smooth, like almost robotic looking body. They're creepy looking.
Yeah, I get brown recluses here.
Yeah,
and they're
kind of harder to tell what it is.
They're evil. They're aggressive. They'll come out after you.
Well, so will black widows will do the same thing.
Really?
The most venomous spiders are always the most aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't see how anybody could have like a pet tarantula or anything like that. And then, Shadow was telling me there's these like monsters that'll jump out at you during the game. These what do you call them? what kind of spiders?
Kobolds, spiders, big
Driders.
Yeah.
Dryads,
These guys right
Driders,
here?
whatever.
Where they're like a centaur spider.
Yeah, Driders are like a fucking dark elf and a
Thing.
spider like melded together.
Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to meeting any of those. And I tried to find you on Facebook, and I
You
did a
did?
search. Yeah, and I got some other different people that are on there, but I couldn't find you. I tried
Darn.
Brian.
Weird WWII. I like
Yeah,
Quarter of the Market.
WWII.
That's my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Did I find it?
Mm-mm.
Sorry. I'll send you a link. I'll put a link in the private chat.
Okay, great. I was gonna I'm getting ready to do a show with Nathan over at the Quantum Show on the Nazis in Antarctica and things like that. I had done
Oh, you guys suck. You guys suck.
You
Well, we're
swabia.
What do you mean we suck? Why do you say that?
Because I wanted to be in that show and I can't because I'm
Just
over
not-
In the
We're
show.
still going to talk about that afterwards, as usual. So when you can come over, we'll still be on that topic.
You better be.
Okay, I'll make sure we are. This is don't have a
Is
cow
it
over there.
Operation High Point or High Jump?
High jump.
When the High Jump, when the
Yeah.
Navy went in there in what, 47, 46, 47?
Yeah, I got to find my notes. Oh,
It's
where's that?
47.
I think it's 47. And Admiral Byrd had been to the North Pole, and when they heard about this possible base and spaceport that the Nazis were building, the British were the first ones to go down there, and they got their asses handed to them. Yeah, they just almost decimated the whole flotilla that had went down there. And the following year, which I believe was 47, get my notes, is when Admiral Byrd took down a bunch of U.S.
Well, it wasn't
One of the
spaceport.
largest. It was like one of the largest naval flotillas ever.
Yes, it was. There were 2 destroyers, 13 warships, 2 aircraft carriers. One of our aircraft carriers got sank, several warships, and one of the destroyers, and 68 Marines lost their lives in that operation.
That's crazy.
Now, what's funny is they tried to tell the public this was a research expedition. Well, what do you need warships for if you're just going to go down and study the whales or the weather? That's kind of funny. So they came back early, though. Came back 2 months early.
Hey,
and,
speak of the devil. What's up, Nathan? You better save me a couple of slices of that Antarctica. That's all I'm saying.
Antarctica.
And Raven, the link to Brian's is in the private chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Just click on that, somehow.
YouTube. Well, actually, that's my group. Do you want my account? Like my personal account? I don't care.
Yeah, your ID number, your PIN number, all that good stuff.
For Discord?
You could you even if you broke my codes, there ain't fucking nothing there to take. I am Poe. I don't even have enough for the OR.
Don't pay them.
There's some weird stuff. And so I thought, okay, who should I ask about this? None other than the dude that has weird World War II in the name of his stuff, right?
Yeah. Well.
Now, let me answer one of your questions. I'm not aware of an aircraft carrier sinking unless some were returned because the weather was bad. And one of the reasons why they send warships is because they're double hulls because of the ice and stuff. Now, they did send, I believe they did send a carrier because they had like all the cargo planes and helicopters and shit. I think they started using some helicopters down there too. That mission. But
they said these silver discs came up out of the water and opened fire on them like they had done the British.
I haven't read that. Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I haven't read that. In all my travels, I haven't ever read that. I've heard of the megalodons down there, and
yeah.
that the Germans ran into. And
apparently, there's some species of dinosaurs that have not been found anywhere else in the world. They're unique, new dinosaurs, supposedly. Where did they take those? Do you know?
what?
The mammoths and the saber-toothed tigers and everything. They were like flash frozen with food still in their mouths.
I know of the mammoth that they found. What, Siberia? Almost like completely.
No, the ones they found in Antarctica.
Name. That's
I haven't
way too much.
I haven't read that.
So, brain in a jar, guys. Transferred intelligence. If the option came along, would you do it? Would you download your consciousness so that when you died or what have you, you'd still keep on keeping?
That depends.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
If we're talking like a full manhood, like bicentennial man, where towards like 3/4 of the way through the movie, I can make you a full man, then I would consider it. But if I have to give up on a lot of human pleasures, you can forget it. I would rather just die.
Good answer.
Wouldn't most people who put their heads in a jar, the intent is to stick around long enough for technology to catch up so they can go into a body eventually, right? Isn't that kind of the whole thing?
Yeah.
So I mean, by default, you wanting to do that, you assuming that medical technology will get to the point where they can clone a body and download your shit in there.
Yep, that's the general consensus.
If it's something like that, yeah, I'd be down.
What if it's like
embossed all over?
What about you, Justin?
You got your pinnacles there.
Shit! Why the fuck is my mute not working?
You might as well change the title of the episode to "Weird Shit in Antarctica That the Nazis Did."
I gotta go.
Hey.
Now, New Swabia, the Nazis went down there in the early to mid 30s,
Yeah.
and then they left, and then war proper hit. I believe they left right before the battle. I believe they left right before invasion of Poland in September of 39.
The sources that I read said they never left. They kept, in fact, taking
yeah,
more
but the
things down
sources you have are schizos on the internet.
there. Oh, that's not true. Well, I bet
Okay,
you
they're
a lot
not
of the
just
things-
on the internet. They get published too by other schizos.
No. So I'm gonna have to go, and I'll be back.
Oh,
right.
I see how you are.
Take it
You
easy.
come in, you drop some propaganda, and then you just bail on us. Okay, I see how you are. Okay, before you go, what's your answer? Would you download your brain?
No.
Nope. Not even Elon Musk style.
Well, definitely not that guy. That guy's a schizo motivator.
All right. Well, is there payment involved? Maybe for the right amount of money, I would do it.
Hell yeah!
Oh, they're
It's called
paying you.
immortality.
A free, immortality.
I worked very hard to fill this space between my ears with all kinds of info. So I could
Make some money on it.
I think so. I think it's worth something.
Or they like leave out certain parts, maybe the things that you know too much about.
Yeah.
Doesn't get transferred. See, look at that. So we talk about censorship. Just imagine the censorship they have now. Just think what it'd be like then. Like, oh yeah, you can upload your consciousness, but you're gonna have to, if you're, if you like
things.
If you don't believe in God, you're not qualified. Or if you have, if you're a racist,
God.
Well, think about every dream you've ever had or any fantasy you've ever had. That's all there in the subconscious. That would be access to. And I don't think there's some stuff in there I would really want,
It's not like you help when you dream.
It's most likely if you're not pro killing the right kinds of people.
But no, I mean, who's to say that they don't delete? Let's say you, I don't know, you belong to a certain religion that they don't like. They erase all of your memories or whatever of that religion. So when you wake up, you don't know anything about it. So they can, I don't know, who fucking.
Yeah.
That's the caveat.
If you're not a good golem.
Golem, yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about those too. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to.
Well, it's a metaphor for an obedient slave, right? So.
You see, okay, I think we should differentiate between still having a biological brain and the whole Elon Musk, where they find a way to code your brain and just transfer all that info. You know what I'm saying?
Remember Dreamscape? Remember that movie Dreamscape?
With Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, that was cool.
Was it Dennis Quaid or
was it?
And then there was another one.
Bo Bridges. Was one or the other.
Remember the one with oh fuck.
That was more like out of body experience weaponized.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the other one. Remember, like they were
Natalie Wood in that one as well?
Memories.
I don't remember.
Oh, shit, which one was?
I gotta go, guys. I'll see
you.
Yeah.
Take care, Raven.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks.
Talk to you later, Raven.
Bye.
Yeah.
Because I think if we go with the the goofy sort of brain in a jar where you still have your biological brain, you're not going to lose. Like we were talking about.
I think
Futurama, where they got the heads.
Right. Where you're not going to lose anything because they would have to go in and take stuff out, right?
I don't know. The way they have it, those brains are like conscious, and you're just sitting there in a fucking jar.
Right. Well, same thing with I think with some aspects of like Ghost in the Shell, where the biological brain is still working. Okay, if that thing's still working, I don't think they could take stuff out, delete some.
You can do that to people who aren't even drugged, or like you can just do that to people on the internet.
Oh shit, man! You assume that they can't do anything. If they can keep your consciousness alive in your brain, they can. Shit, who knows what fucking technology they got?
The problem with a lot of the things.
Seriously, it's just dissidence. You don't need technology at all. You can just convince people. Like people,
right?
But
here's the thing: the pathways and the memories are still there, so they can resurface and morph and mutate and change and come back. And people can change their minds. Okay. Now, if it's just pure.
Have you ever met a Republican?
Yeah, I've met a few. Or at least that's what they say.
Okay. What was that movie with Christopher Walken in it? Remember, he was able to record people's memories and then
Yeah, I think that was Dreamscape.
Yeah,
that was Dreamscape with Natalie Wood and a bunch of.
Yeah, remember the one lady dies and it records her going to heaven or some shit.
Yeah,
and his son was watching it or some shit and jacked him up. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Now, if it's because that leads to one of my other questions. If they remove the brain somehow successfully and keep it alive and put it in some other thing, hoping to maybe put it into a robot body or regrow you a new body or something like that, which you would think that if they're going to go to all that trouble, it would be far easier. If they can keep the brain alive, then they could just put it in another body, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I guess in theory, yeah.
I mean, if they can keep it alive, then, maybe.
Man, talk about the ultimate role-playing experience.
What was the Seattle Legacy books dealt with the consequences of the older generation not leaving, right? It was just immortality in that, but you might stop putting people who got that treatment into new bodies just because there's nothing for them to do. There's nowhere for the young to go. If Shadow becomes a multi-billionaire industrialist on 17 worlds, and his empire isn't going to Jackie because he's just putting his brain into a new body every 60 years, you know?
Oh, I bring Jackie along. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
but
Like,
Jackie might
there's
want that empire. You know, he's like,
he might
it's-
he might want the
Jackie
breathing
would
room
be
to grow.
opposed to that on levels you can't even imagine.
dude, you don't know what Jackie would do when he's 30. You know, like
I don't know
Dad
what he's going to
keeps-
do right now.
It's
but you know what I mean. My dad keeps resurrecting. I'm never going to get this empire. I never have to control this power.
There's no room for me to grow or build my own because you know,
because I own everything, right?
Yeah.
Or everything within 200
that's
light
such
years
a
is mine.
weird like money thing, dude.
Well, it's not just money; it's resources generally, right? Like the ability to have.
And other things, being able to surpass your father, and to completely grow up and leave the nest, that whole.
It's kind of like that Altered Carbon, wasn't it? That was a
Yeah,
cool, I watched
Altered
the
Carbon was
movie.
okay.
I don't know anything else. I know it's a
TV show.
comic or a book or some shit. Wasn't it?
There
it
was a novel
TV
series. There's 3 or 4 of them.
That
Right.
fucking movie was cool, or series, or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was
The first season was great. The second season is like, what?
I don't think I saw the second season.
It wasn't as good for
With the
different
same
reasons.
people?
But, no, that was the thing. Is the whole idea is that you're going to get a new body. So clearly,
Well, yeah, but I mean the same
You're
like characters.
Same characters, but not the same actors.
Yeah.
Right, because the body dies and you get a new one.
Well, in
just
that
remember
case, you travel and get a new body, right? Because your brain chip gets switched out for another one.
Yeah.
There was another cool ass movie with he used to date Britney Spears back in the day, that singer guy.
Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake. It's like a sci-fi movie where everybody has so much time.
Yeah, Time.
on their
That's what it was called.
Is it called Time? Dude, that was cool. And people are like, for you to have more time, you have to work. And if you run out of time, you just die.
Yeah, and the guy got like accidentally transferred.
Like, kind of like I guess the real world.
100,000
Yeah,
years.
the rich have like unlimited time, but people didn't realize that. That guy got all depressed and gave him like 100 years or some shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I forgot. I can barely remember the movie, but I remember I enjoyed watching it.
There was a similar movie with Clive Owenson, but I can't remember what it was called. And it had that same what's her face in it? I think the blonde that was in Ted the movie, or Ted 2. I can't remember.
So okay, let's switch gears for a second. The idea of just somehow downloading your consciousness, nothing biological. It's just somehow they can
chip or whatever.
Or do you think that would actually be you? Would that be your soul in there, or do you think it would just be a cheap copy?
I would probably be more apt to do that than cutting out my brain and putting it in a jar. I don't know. That sounds weird, but just like my consciousness down on the computer, maybe put me on the net, like live.
I'd want to see it done a few times first.
Well, sure. Like all eternity on like an electrical file, like just create whatever world, like almost like a Sims or some shit.
Well, I would want a different, like the ability. I want like an Altered Carbon with the chip in the back of the head and
right. But do you think that would really be you? Do you think that they could?
I'm not a believer, so I don't fucking whatever.
Well, whatever. Let me put it this way. Not even speaking religiously. Do you think that would really be the same thing as you? I mean, would you have all of the same exact feelings and
well, no one does. No one does. From like you aren't the same person you were yesterday. So
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't the same person when you were a kid, you know. Or...
It would depend on how much it changes you, and I think that would be your based around cultural familiarity with the process. So once again, I'd have to see it done with people that are more into that first.
I mean, there would have to be some sort of like
But I'm not
like
absolutely opposed to it.
Yeah, I like if I like wanted to like die, after I've been in the web for 5 million years or some shit, I should have that option. I mean, I would need some sort of safeguards or whatever. But again, it's kind of you take that on faith.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's that you could self-delete.
Yeah, like if it's like if it's not for you and your body's already dead, so it's just
I wouldn't personally want the in the web kind of thing, like in Lawnmower Man. I'd want the altered carbon version of it,
where you get an actual biological body.
Yeah.
Now that I don't think will ever happen, and this is why, is because what you're doing is the population is going to be out of control.
Yeah,
these biological bodies, are going to have to be fed. The people who are living their first lives will be fighting for the people against the people who've been living their 20th fucking life.
And that was a subtext to that story.
And that's a big thing.
What's to stop? The Soroses and the Gates and the Elon Musks.
They will always have that access.
And that was a primary text of that story.
Keeping the rich and powerful from doing exactly that, and then we would never know. Kind of like a technological version of the Highlander. Every so many years,
the influential will always have more than those who aren't. It's just that's fucking reality. I mean, and what'll happen, like if we revolt against it and overthrow them, that batch of jerks are defeated, and then the people who overthrew them will start to gain the power and start to get and then they'll just do the same fucking thing. So it's just like, I mean,
I
don't know.
And if you
fight what you can fight, but there's some just constants in the fucking universe.
True inequality comes from when the super wealthy prevent the motivated from joining their ranks. And that's happening in society now, right? Where like if you're inclined to become wealthy, like you have the mental capability of doing it, the motivation and drive, they prevent you. Where a good society allows you to still
reward you for your heart, your endeavors, and
and those in the elite that don't maintain their wealth have the ability to fall, and aren't maintained by fortune and structure.
I was going for a Red and Blue Samurai. Does that just look like Batman? Does this just look like Spider-Man?
No.
Spider-Man? No, it looks like a
samurai, but it does have those colors. You want to break it up with a little bit of brown or something on the fabrics and belts.
And that blue would need to be a little bit darker for me to start seeing.
There have been versions of Spider-Man that have been pretty bright, but
or just painted black. There we go.
Okay, check this out for you Trekkie folks out there. All of this technology to me reminds me of the transporter. Once you go in the first time, you're to me, I think you're dead, and you're basically just
Barkley.
Not if you have a soul. I will argue that to the day I die. If you have a soul, your body has been transferred into your soul, and then your body is retransferred out of your soul into the physical form when you get there. If you have no soul, then yes, the transporter is just a cloning machine.
Well, okay, I appreciate that. That's heartwarming to hear. But what if the process of transportation constitutes death?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know.
Your physical body is transferred into your soul. It's literally the equivalent of your soul, of your body going inside out without it killing you. It's just.
I don't think I've ever
your soul
heard
becomes your.
Related to that kind of process, though.
Well, because it disassembles you.
Yeah,
it breaks you down.
Yeah, I'll let you finish.
It breaks you down to molecules or whatever, and then it stores you and then beams you. That process could constitute dying.
Yeah. Well.
And if that's the case, then I could see you going into the transporter, you die, but they still are able to recreate a facsimile that is, 99.9% you, except for the fact that it just doesn't have a soul.
From what I understand is it breaks down your meat and just shows that into the replicator. And then pulls material from the local area to make a new meat body.
Yep.
So, like, you could, I guess maybe it's remaking you out of the same material when you come back.
Well, what I've always thought of as the transporter is when you are broken down molecule by molecule. Your physical form is transferred into your soul because your soul is already energy.
It never
turned into energy, therefore your soul just kind of absorbs you. When you're transferred down to wherever it is you're going, your physical body is reformed, and therefore your soul is transferred back into your body. But if you don't have a soul, then it is Justin's explanation is just as feasible. If there is no soul, then it's just you are being destroyed and recopied 1,000 times over.
That's nice.
This is how you really find out. You see if the creator of the fucking teleporter gets in the teleporter.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to the show.
And I will tell you this: the guy in Star Trek, if Enterprise is canonical, never used that motherfucking thing once. So.
I don't know that I would be able to do that. I mean, I love the idea of teleportation. That's like my all-time dream superpower. But at the cost of my soul, not.
Yeah. Now, the thing with
okay, just real quick. Just if when you get to the pearly gates, I don't know if God is gonna hold it against you. It's like, oh no, you took me to a transporter. You're fucked, dude.
I don't know,
think he
man.
would do that shit.
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
That guy's
I don't think so either, Brian. I think it would be like, oh well, you died. You didn't know that the transporter was, a death chamber.
I mean, it's
so
like,
come on in.
I don't think God's like a lawyer, and it's like, oh, you didn't follow guideline 387, so you're fucked,
bro. Yeah, he is.
No, I don't know. I don't see that. I'm not even a believer, but I don't even think God would be on that level of like.
I don't. Like I said, I don't think that if going into the transporter equals a death sentence, but you don't know. That's like walking across the street not knowing you're going to get hit by a bus. It's not your fault. You walked across the street, you got hit by the bus. You didn't see the bus. You didn't, put two and two together that the transporter is just a,
There's a movie called Defending Your Life. Where have you guys seen that?
No.
Where when you die, you go to like heaven, right? And they hold a trial to see if you're worthy of going to heaven or being reincarnated and sent back to earth. But you have to defend your life. So like, people who are, do things well or, or help people, that they show that they're worthy of going up. But then like, there's those who kind of like,
slackers like Justin.
Slackers.
Hey,
it's
man,
like, why should you go back? Why should you go to heaven and not just go back to earth and try over? And like the worse you are, you reincarnate, kind of like the Hindu, where like if you're a bad person, you're reincarnated into like a snail or some bullshit, smaller life form. It's something like that, but it's pretty funny.
I think I've seen something like that. Maybe I have seen that. Is it from the 80s?
What are your thoughts, nerds?
Yeah, I think so.
I think transportation and or the what's the altered carbon style of like floating a consciousness somewhere else, almost by definition means you are dying. Like And I don't see any possible way that it's transferring the consciousness, because the steps you have to take for it to be a continuity of the same consciousness and not just a mimic and a sequel to it, right? Is you first have to accept souls. And then secondly, the technology has to account for that and then actually transport in the soul, which doesn't, I don't know how that would work.
So in the show and in the book, there is a chip, like a thing implanted in the back of your neck, and it goes into the brain and takes the place of the memory center. So all your memories are stored on that instead of in your brain.
Mhm.
That way they can add skills in transit and stuff like that. And the characters that have it have flawless memory and all that crap. And then that's just put out and took out and put into another body interchangeably. Like, so if we both had that system, we could just switch bodies on a whim, assuming that we had somebody to.
But here's the thing: when you do that, and you would transfer it to a new body, you would continue to live from everyone else's perspective, but the consciousness you had whilst in that body ceases, and a new consciousness is started with the exact same memories from where that your old one left. So I can't help but feelings you would die, but no one else would notice.
Yeah, well, at that point, it becomes a sense of cultural belief,
Philosophical
right?
thing.
Yeah. Whether you believe that or not, I don't know if it would be factual.
I don't know. It's like, the definition of like,
Yeah.
Well, 1,000 years ago, everything was a lot different. The mindset of people were a lot different. Their definition of whatever was a lot different.
One thing on the other side, why the fuck is Oma now in the chat, not in the freaking show?
I don't know. I invited him. He's maybe doing family stuff.
Well, his name is Omen Owl, so one day that phrase is going to be specific to the reason he's not showing up.
Well, that's ominous. But I did actually send him the link in Discord.
So he's flying around eating mice. And you remember The Secret of Nim? Holy shit, that owl in that scared the hell out of me as a kid, dude.
That
owl started my love for owls.
Is that the one with Nicodemus?
Yeah, the mice.
Yeah, that was a pretty good cartoon.
I saw that in the theater as a kid. Man, that owl freaked me out.
Yeah. I don't know. I never watched it.
It was before your time.
That was a tearjerker. I remember crying like a baby.
We had it on VHS.
You didn't send me a link. I didn't feel like just jumping in.
I didn't. I could swear I sent you the link in Discord.
Now, everyone agree with me. Justin's homework is to watch Secret of Nim.
Secret of Nim.
We owned it when I was a kid. I don't like
and 2. Both are worth watching.
I haven't seen 2. No, there was a 2.
Is that the one where the mice moved to New York?
No, that's the Rescuers. I think.
That's not Fightful Travels West or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fightful Travels West, and there's a third one.
Okay. So anyway,
it wasn't as good.
You guys are talking about it. The question really comes down to: are you splitting your souls if you accidentally, transfer it in 2 different bodies? That's the.
I was getting there, man. I was getting there. There.
Well, then you're just getting the whole Harry Potter Horcrux crap.
Well, because I could see, I'd actually thought about this before. Say you're that really, really wealthy bastard, and you need to be multiple places at once to run your galactic empire. Because you can't be, because of the distance and all that, you can't be in 2 places at once.
Is it like Multiplicity, where every time they make a replica, you just get worse and worse and worse? I'm just asking, because it's.
I don't know. That was the least plausible thing about that movie is I don't think multiple Michael Keatons would be worse.
No, but no, I mean, it's
I don't know. I've heard him talk politics and just no.
They all do that, and I'm like, just You know, that's why I'm like, look,
I just
you're a talking monkey, okay? That's all that we ask you to do.
Shut up and dance.
Yeah, that's right.
I just
Read your
want
lines that your masters have told you, so you can get your next paycheck in your movie.
I just want him to go back to the early 1990s and make Batman 3 and Batman 4 and Batman 5 and
yeah. Well, you know what?
Mr. Mom 2 and
No. I never liked Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom was a
well,
shit.
well, he's coming back for Beetlejuice, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's too late.
But well, you know what? He'll even look more like an undead. It's the older he gets. That's the other question is, if you're gonna go through this, if you want to have fun, is if you get transported without your soul, do you show up in a mirror? You know, that's
well, you don't show up in a mirror now, so
that's right. I'm just a pure facsimile. You know, I just glitch out every so often when the AI has to reboot.
Well, it does keep shutting down periodically.
Oh, hey, nerd.
Well, in all technicality, that whole thing about not showing up in the mirror
Walker.
is true for silver-based mirrors. If it's lead or aluminum-based, you can still
don't know that.
He's like,
I've
been a
actually done my
vampire for
research.
400 years. Don't tell me how it works.
Well, actually, we should be asking Shadow that question.
No, Shadow's been older, been around much longer.
Shadow has a soul. It's just, it's just in this little phylactery. You know, he keeps up in the corner.
Yeah, and he's so old, it's a little dinosaur's tooth.
Oh, it's in amber.
Not even fossilized. It's still a regular tooth. It's still just.
Okay, you guys bringing up the phylactery, okay?
Yeah.
Have you ever been able to destroy completely a lich in all of your gaming ever?
Well, me personally, no, because I've never run into one as a player.
You've
Because all my
never run
DMs
into a lich?
Well, you got to understand, all my DMs were weak and pathetic, and that's why I became the DM for the last 40 years. So no, have I
can't
allowed
remember.
players to do so? Well, I've definitely given them the impression that they had done so. Let's put it that way.
You know what though? No, because I didn't try bringing in real world politics into my games. So the liches that are politicians, no, they have not destroyed them. No, actually, to be fair on that, most of the time I think that if you're high enough level, I think you might be able to destroy them or turn them. I can't remember how far it goes.
There's a wizard spell, a ninth level spell from like 2E that just immediately kills the lich and his phylactery in one test.
Oh yeah. It is a ninth level spell, to be fair. By then you're like 17.
Yeah,
I don't care.
That sounds like bullshit.
The purpose of
the nerds.
The purpose of the lich.
Crowning touch.
The purpose of the lich is the bad guy you never know you've actually defeated.
Yeah,
they're the one. They're like the Joker.
Forever evil.
I tend to agree, but if for some reason they legitimately find the phylactery and do the things,
well, you can find it, but you got to destroy it in a very, very specific manner.
And
under my hammer of thunderbolts.
No, it doesn't work that way, dude. It has to. It can only be destroyed in a specific way.
Mount Doom?
No.
Yeah. Why not?
No.
Is Mount Doom a holy volcano?
Mount Doom destroyed the ring because the ring was associated with Mount Doom. It was forged there. You can apply that same logic to another phylactery, which is kind of what the ring was, and say the way it was created determines the way that it must be destroyed. But on one person's volcano is not going to kill another person's phylactery.
Correct. Yeah. The lich when he creates it, he puts in how it can be destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he does that intentionally. I think it's like
he knows how it can be destroyed. So it's like, I think they know how it. Yeah, they know how it can be destroyed.
Because it's part of how it's made, right? Like
you have to throw it into the sun while it's riding on
you know
a
what?
zebra.
If it's powerful enough, I'm going to let you destroy it. You know, I don't care if it's dragon's breath but it has to be something pretty supernatural.
Yeah, like you said, Brian, the actual sun. That if they can get to the sun,
it would have had to been created there. kind of
Guys,
thing.
No, it
it's not
doesn't just
hard
have
to
to be
get to the
created there.
sun
If it's
because-
powerful enough, it counts. You know.
you can plane jump. That means you can get to the fucking sun some magically way.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you
then,
can get there,
you're
but
kind
you
of blowing
survive
yourself up too. I mean, it's not.
But no, but you never know. Like, you should never know if it's a decoy. That's why I
Well,
say
yeah.
you should never know if you've actually killed it or not.
Yeah.
You might have gone through all those steps and then, oh, ha ha ha! 6 months later, he's back. You got the wrong thing.
No, absolutely.
Constituted bitches.
I was just reading like I was talking about the other day with the Administrator's Guide for Top Secret second edition. That was a big chapter was bringing back the bad guy. I mean, why would you go to all that trouble? Now you got to at least bring him back at least once. No matter if
don't
it's a good
necessarily.
bad guy, you got to bring him back once.
Well, you know what though is you don't bring them back because you let the players realize they didn't kill the real bad guy.
Yeah,
It's not. It's like it's okay. To me, it really cheats me if I feel like he's coming back when I felt like I really killed him. It's different if you come over and you find out that, well, wait a minute, he has the scar on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side or something. You're like, oh, wait a minute, something's off. And the player's like, oh, yeah. No, all it says for liches is that they die normally. There's nothing special about them dying any other way.
I don't think of
my
the
games.
mythical level
And-
lich.
Well, we're talking about the 1E monster manual. If you're pulling it from somewhere
I'm not
else,
talking about D&D. I'm talking about like other shit.
I don't know. They take enough drugs, and they're the problem that you have with real life liches is that they're all senile and they do whatever their donors tell them.
Okay, here we go. So,
Bo
okay,
isn't
so
coming
this
to
is
this
this
one
is
if
where
he
I'm getting
shows
this
up.
from. So, guys, the mythic level, the lich, the mythic level lich,
From what book?
a mythic phylactery.
Pathfinder.
Mythic
Oh,
lich's
okay.
phylactery.
Okay,
can
that
be harmed by
nullifies just about everything
non-magical
you're
sources.
saying.
Let me fucking finish. Goddamn.
Do I need to pull up the link to my T-shirt that I sell?
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Brian. I'm just
Says
fucking with you.
becomes a minor artifact and can be destroyed by only one specific method.
Okay, so
There you
and it depends on how you want to do yours. Do I do that? No, because that's not a, that's the whole point of the lich is that you don't find them. The lich is the last thing that's in there, and usually I let the lich have a couple of the skeletal warriors with them. Because I always love those guys.
You know what? I just had a really interesting thought. Does anybody know from what piece of literature a lich actually comes from? The actual origin.
Probably
who
like
was the
Egyptian
first?
or some shit.
Because
Well-
I could.
I mean,
type it
you
up.
go back far enough, and I think it was just kind of a generic term, and we added each kind of game system and books kind of added their own mythology onto it. I want to say lich was just kind of a generic term for undead back in the
What's
day.
the origin
Well,
of
so
lich?
you'll think about it like this, nerds. The word itself, lich, is kind of a weird word. It doesn't give you an idea
It's
other than.
called English for corpse.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Sword of the
Brain of
Sorcerer
a
by
fucking
Gardner
nerd.
Fox is
Good
what he
job,
said.
girl.
Okay, so this was where he said it came from. It's the Sword by the Sorcerer, written in 1969 by Gardner Fox.
Okay.
That's where that said is, and I haven't really looked into
up,
the
Mark?
Van Richthofen's guide for liches, but I mean we're way off of transference at this point.
Well,
but I
no,
guess
because it's kind of this the same
It's
thing.
magical transfer.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I'm kind of picturing it. Because let's face it, most people play a fantasy RPG as opposed to a science fiction. So I knew that this conversation would go in that direction at some point because most of us are more familiar with that idea magically than technologically, and at this point in time, there's really no actual difference.
Do you know
because-
where I would take this from? Is
Possible.
more from one of the Conan books.
Well, if you
when you look at the skull, and they talk about it, only looking like the skull of an undead sorcerer. that's where I take it from a lot of times. Is rather than being a vampire or a mummy, it's more of these. It's that's where I take my lich version from. It's Thulsa Doom from the books.
Thulsa Doom.
Well, if you want to take the lich into a more science fiction term, someone who has transferred their intelligence into a computer could be considered a type of lich, especially if they remote control bodies from a distance.
Hey, Crafter, check it out. Here's my Gundam.
Have any of you played Eclipse Phase or read it?
Repeat that.
Have any of you played Eclipse Phase or read it?
Reddit. I've been on the website Reddit.
Okay, obviously you've not read it then. But it's but no, Eclipse Phase takes us at the very point of where
extra points for Omanel for that.
But the whole point of the Eclipse Phase is that's part of where the idea is that you transfer your body, you transfer your mind into different entities, basically all over the universe, because you're limited to normal light speed, basically.
That's kind of the chips in Altered Carbon. They would download to a blank one at a terminus hub when you went.
The parallels are pretty extreme between Lich and like Altered Carbon, those similar technologies. I mean, they literally have backup lives where if they die, it automatically re-uploads their consciousness into a new body. Like it's literally a flactor.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Well, remember all of us that watched Battlestar Galactica back in the days.
Good liches, insert. That's an interesting question. It depends on if you can come up with a way for the lich to become a lich without the usual sort of necromantic, accoutrements, the suicide and things like that, maybe. If it was like a curse.
I mean, I feel like.
Go ahead, nerd.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, don't worry about it.
Stepped right on your face, dude.
I was gonna say, I feel like the attitude behind the lich, it's so greedy and so ambitious that it's hard for it not to be an evil person, right? This is someone who's willing to sacrifice their very humanity for more power. So finding a way for that to be a good person, while theoretically I'm okay with it, I don't see it happening very often.
I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. How would you view the, talking about kind of the lich and, as they start going through there, how would you view the knight at the end of the Last Crusade?
The Last Crusade.
He was a paladin who was given enhanced lifespan.
Okay, I was just checking, because sometimes. And
by the way, that was a really good answer there, nerds. That was
the knight
really,
at the end of the Last.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that could be, if you want to consider some of that, would that be similar, for the same thing?
He didn't. He gained nothing other than to protect the. He did it not for selfish reasons. He did it, for his.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but
the character name is Grail Knight.
Yeah.
Right? He's a Grail Knight. So the power then life he gets is a blessing from his god in order to protect the holy, right? So it's not a selfish motivation. It's not undeath. It's expanded actual life. So I don't consider him a lich, but it is interesting some of the parallels there.
Yes, that's what
I kind of have to wonder if that was, bestowed on him by God or an angel or something like that.
It's assumed that's what
as a cross between a reward and or punishment at the same time.
Well, I don't think it's a punishment.
Yeah. So it was his duty, right?
Yeah.
It was a sacrifice on him to take up that responsibility and duty.
It sounds like a punishment to me. I mean, living in a cave for hundreds or thousands.
He has more faith than you do.
With no cable. I mean, come on.
He has more faith
with no cable.
Okay,
I don't know cable these days.
I'm going to say something.
I mean, how many times can you read the same 8 books? You can't leave.
I don't know how many times can a person read the Bible. Thousands of times. Anyway, I'm going over one other thing just to say that we're completely sexist to nerd. Whenever you talk, we'll all shut up. That's the whole point. And I have no problems with that kind of sexism.
I do.
Hell.
I'll take
I
it.
actually have.
Okay,
the potential for
I'll
being a-
start talking over nerd. Sorry, nerd. Just keep it fair.
Oh shit.
Shut up, nerd.
Yeah.
I actually have a way of becoming a good lich in my game, but it's next to impossible for humans.
Well,
Because you have to live for 1,000 years and purposely look at an item every day and say I'm putting my soul into this, but you have to do that every single day for 1,000 years. Therefore, you have to have the ability to live a very long time, but that will naturally put your soul into the object.
Here's the real question: what object would you make your phylactery? What would it be? What would be?
I've always left that as an I love making that whenever I have a players go after the lich. You can never know what it is, so I always make it the individual chooses the object. It is something usually of personal to of the person.
So I'm saying, what would you guys, if you guys became liches? What item would you choose?
I would have to be the very first orc I painted, the orc that started me on Warhammer Orcs. Yes,
that's cool.
I would pick one of the dams because they're never going to remove it. I'm like, good luck trying to take that out, bitches.
That is a fair one.
Allahu Akbar!
Yeah, no shit. Or like a dam.
Do you know what that does?
Just roll that
it
bad
just
boy
creates
right
a small hole.
No.
That's it. It's like you're like, that didn't work out as well as you thought it did. No, I've seen where they've actually shown like in how much an explosion would be for some things.
I'm just joking, man.
That still wouldn't take it out. You know, it's people don't understand how resilient certain things are.
Well,
but if it was up to me, if I was going to be a god,
what would yours be, Brian?
Look, I don't know, dude. It'd have to be because I don't want someone to see it and like, oh yeah, that's definitely a fucking phylactery. I have no idea.
Be purple and silicone.
It's sort of shaped like a dragon organ.
So you guys fucking went there. I didn't say shit.
Yes, but it's funner putting it on you.
Word.
Brian was
I didn't say nothing.
Tonight. You
guys are the ones bringing it on.
Make assumptions. Hey, I got your back, Brian. How about you, nerds?
I'm not sure I'm familiar enough with the rules. Like I feel like you typically would have to be something of special importance to yourself, and that kind of radically narrows it down. Whereas if you're strictly looking at it from a what would be hardest to destroy, like I mean, I don't know, can I make the planet my phylactery? Like you want to pick something that might. How could you destroy this without killing yourself too?
Yeah.
But I don't view that, unlike Pathfinder, is to me the phylactery is just something that houses part of your soul, but they can still destroy you as the lich, and then you're just trapped in the phylactery at worst. So now you at that point you really become more of a ghost, and you try to inhabit whoever.
No, I mean, the phylactery reconstitutes your physical form.
See, that's not the way I would look at it. See, so you're doing the Pathfinder version. I wouldn't do that. Your phylactery would just be like, great. It's kind of the soul, like I was been reading the Michael Moorcock
it's like a soul gem. It's just a receptacle to hold your soul until that item comes back in contact with another body. For me, it would probably be either my oldest firearm or my oldest blade.
So you know what though is I've
that
been
way,
reading
next time somebody wants to use it,
the Michael Moorcock stuff.
Off, but then they're mine.
Well, do you remember the Michael Moorcock where it's talking about the rose was what kept his father's soul?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And see, that's something that would probably be fairly similar. It's like, oh, okay, but but the other problem is that when someone grabs your phylactery, my other view on that is now they can control you.
If they don't.
That's a good point there. Insert from the Grail Knight. One might also posit that he himself used the cup periodically to extend his lifespan. That's probably exactly the answer.
It might be did that where he was given the information that allows him to maintain his vigilance, and he just does that.
What better way, right? Though.
Well, here's the other part. Has any of you ever seen what those monks do to self mummify themselves?
No. That sounds
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I haven't seen them do it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's kind of these things where the monks start taking imbibing stuff, and that's the way I view as a lich. Really, it's not the phylactery is where it's kind of like, well, I'm going to put my soul somewhere, but that's just only by separating you from your body are you allowed to live forever in that aspect. But they can still destroy either one.
That's creepy as hell.
Like
So,
make believe.
Staring back to sci-fi, would you guys ever use that technology in a sci-fi game?
Yes.
If you were the DM,
I love it in a
Yes.
sci-fi setting. I think it's
But-
fantastic.
Well,
Some
the
sort of
phylactery idea,
technology,
you talking about the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, where every time they die they get rebirth?
or
No, the Cylon,
That's a
the
good
Cylon
example.
people aren't in the robots. The Cylons well, I don't know which one you're talking about, the original or the reboot.
The
In the reboot,
newer
they are
one, the
the
one in
robots.
2000.
yeah,
Um,
I think the original. I think the original Cylons were actually like reptiles. So
Yeah.
No,
and they,
the story is the same. In the original, they were also machines.
no.
built by the colonists.
The
Yeah,
the
go watch it,
Cylons
man.
are reptilians, and they created the machines to be their fucking.
No,
their-
they were from the colonies as well in the original. You're thinking of V
no, what
that
the
had
fuck?
the lizard people.
I don't know.
Anyways, the whole
got the
point is when they
paperback.
had
I'll
their
have to go check.
resurrection ships. Do you remember
Yeah.
the
Right.
resurrection ship in the newer
Yeah.
ones? And that's what I'm
Yeah.
referring to. It's like, that I don't mind it if that's all that's in there. The problem here's the problem that I really have with it. It's not that it can't be there. The problem I have with it is that it cheapens death and a lot of the dangers that come with it. And as for players and as a DM, I think that doesn't make it a very fun game. That's
What
why
if
I
you,
don't
what
allow
if you
it.
just used it for the bad guys?
Then that would be
They're
very
all
similar to what they
gods,
have
motherfucker.
but then you could destroy it. So I would allow that. Very similar to
Yeah.
with Battlestar Galactica. That's the way I would do it. Is I would allow you to destroy it.
Well,
But I would also cause the other part is very similar to, like Resurrection. Is it cheapens death in a lot of cases. I want something to feel like it's, I don't mind it, but I feel that every time you get killed, you lose a part of yourself or something changes in yourself.
yeah.
I like using it as a depth, and you lose maybe whatever the mental stats of the system are, take damage. I certainly think you lose all memories from I like that altered carbon approach and have like a save state of your consciousness. Well, you don't know what happens from that last save state to when you died, and you're degrading every time you have to reload.
Here's the other part too: is
Well,
you start adding a mental disorder every time you die, then it starts becoming the point where it's like, okay, is it worth even reincarnating you or something like that?
That was the thing in Altered Carbon. The girl that fell from the sky storyline in the series. She was permanently dead because the person destroyed her chip, right? So it was like permanent death, not body harm. The rich guy was looking for who tried to kill him when they destroyed his body, but that person that did that was only guilty of vandalism of the flesh or something like that, where it wasn't like an attempted murder or whatever.
Well, the other part is when you talk about transferred, it's not are you going to be, is the physical body in a pod very similar to what they had with the Avatar, and you're running around in another body, and if you kill the original, do you die as well? I think that's the other part that comes into it. It's like, well, are you going for the body, or are you going for the actual person that's in a pod?
Yeah, I could.
Here's a question: if all this is technology that's actually plausible and viable and whatever, do you think there would be some sort of it's not going to be cheap. Whoever owns the tech is going to sell it. Do you think there'll be some worldwide demand that everyone have access to this technology, that it's a civil right or it's a human right and all that bullshit?
I don't think us plebes would ever know it existed, and that's the way I would run it.
There's no way. If someone knew that there was a technician, a family member, someone's going to say something.
Just because someone says something doesn't mean that people believe in it or anything else.
There have been rumors of strange technologies my whole lifetime, and some of those rumors still exist, and they could very well exist, like the med beds and things like that. And most people just think, that's just a conspiracy theory, just wacko, fringe, fantasy, science fiction. It's not real, and I think they could prolong that to the point where they could use their wealth and power to eliminate any even records of that, just by outliving most people. Just slowly delete any references to that, on the internet or what have you. In
it already happens,
right?
With
And at some point, they would win, and nobody would know about it, and that would be the point where I would actually bring the characters into the story. Is that no one's ever heard of it? It's it's never even been conceptualized. Ra's al Ghul from Batman, nice.
Yeah. No, that's exactly.
Then I would have the players, somehow come across this technology, some bad guy that they're dealing with, for whatever reason. They find out that that's exactly how this person keeps coming back to life. Kind of like Ra's al Ghul is a perfect example. Batman and 8 other people on the planet know about the Lazarus Pit. That's it. Everybody else is oblivious.
I'm going to bring the other part is, let's remember Highlander, where they just assume another person's name and they just transfer somewhere else. I mean, I know that Kevin Mitnick used to do stuff like that by, you look at, where things are, and all you have to disappear is for 20 years and then come back and oh, yeah, I was his son or something you don't
even have to disappear that long. You just go to a new part of the world, get a little plastic surgery maybe, or, complete, different haircut and
it's a lot harder to do that these days than it was in some cases.
Right. But once
Shadow, everybody knows about the Lazarus Pits. It's just that nobody believes the Fountain of Youth is real.
I don't know what you mean by everybody.
Well, no, everybody knows everybody knows about the legend of the Fountain of Youth. Everybody's heard the legend. If you haven't heard about it, you literally live in an ignorance. But nobody believes it's real, and that's basically what the Lazarus Pit is a Fountain of Youth.
Right, but I thought that was all of the legends I know of it. It's based in a very specific location, and I don't remember that being in that location.
I'm gonna go do some transferences with Mel.
You get what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
we're gonna shut down.
Take it easy. Keep it weird.
Take care, Brian. We'll see you tomorrow.
So I mean, the whole thing is there are rumors of immortal things that will do it, but it's not called the Lazarus Pit, and people don't know exactly what a Lazarus Pit is, even if they came upon it. So that to me is very different. It's much like saying Fountain of Youth. Well, you wouldn't know a Fountain of Youth unless you magically came upon it. So
and I was in Florida.
Well, supposedly DeSoto died looking for it, but how do we know? It's just like El Dorado or all these other places. Just because there's a rumor doesn't mean that's where it actually is. And then even if we did, we wouldn't know where it was if we found it. It's, how would you know until 10 or 20 years later? That's part of what comes in.
Right. You could literally walk through it and not even realize it.
Yeah. Unless it has an immediate effect, is to say, oh, look, it slows down your aging by 10 times. Unless you're drinking that water exclusively, you would probably never even know. So that those are things that come to. Whereas I know that the Lazarus Pits were fairly they were fairly brief in the time to revive Ra's al Ghul.
And I thought it was more of a technological thing as opposed to
in Batman it was ancient.
Really, because
all
my memories from
the Himalayan magic or whatever.
Yeah.
Really, because I could have swore it was more of a. I mean,
Shadow. The flowers in that in the newest movie with Ra's al Ghul. That's actually where the fountain. That's where that's the stuff that produces the juice they need. Not fucking psycho. Oh God, I'm going to kill everything around me.
I'm remembering or trying to remember the old comic books back in the day, Demon and things like that, where the backgrounds had a very sort of sci-fi look to them.
Yeah, well, that's just the artists interpreting things.
Well,
Yeah, well,
they
Ra's
were
al Ghul is.
And it wasn't a
remember correctly-
poor
Sorry.
organization. Sorry, man.
No, it's okay. And if I remember correctly, Ra's al Ghul was a bit steampunky in his look anyway. There was a lot of metallics wherever he was.
Right. That's why I got the impression that it was more of a technological process. I think even the animated series made it look kind of that way.
It to me just looked more like a magical goo that was coming from the.
No, I mean the
earth.
backgrounds
Kind of steeping up.
the backgrounds of everything but the actual liquid. I mean, like where it was placed. Now, I would do the same thing. I would fortify that place like Fort Knox, and you wouldn't be getting in and that sort of thing. But
I remember the actual pit being just a stone cavern. Like they went in through a nice place, and then the actual room was just a cave. With
exactly. It seemed like it was seeping up from the earth, and that's why you had to find the pits. And they're only known to a few people.
Well, I do know those flowers were involved.
Okay,
I'm not a huge Batman fan, but I did read a few of the comics.
And you know what? Things have changed over so many times with the various reboots. You know,
that is true. There could be versions where those flowers aren't involved.
Right. No, I just meant overall. It could be very different things.
I'm going almost exclusively from comic books, probably older than most of us. Not most of us, but some of us here.
And I'm going mostly from the cartoon from the 90s.
Okay.
And that's where I got it from, is from the cartoon, and I've also got it from the video game when they were doing that, and it was in certain locations around the world where they had it. But yeah,
I will reiterate one thing though: original Harley Quinn, best Harley Quinn. She
Which
came
is
from
the
cartoon.
original.
The cartoon was the original. Yeah.
Yeah. She was.
Yeah, I have to agree. I did not like them going, oh, we're going to make Harley Quinn a sex symbol. Yeah. She's supposed to be a psychotic clown.
Well, just like Joker. She started out as a therapist.
Yeah.
Became enamored of, the Joker, which right off the bat, is just weird. I know that sort of thing happens, but they really, I think, jumped the shark with that. But that's kind of the whole essence of comic book characters.
Well, I mean the physical design. I don't like the trashy version.
Oh yeah. That was. I totally agree there. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Is that trying to be a ghost with a golden blade?
In the game I'm making, yes, it is a ghost. But the game I'm working on, you can add a gem to a blade and add an elemental effect to it, which turns it that color.
Okay, no, I was just curious. It looks fine. I like the way that you've done that. I mean, it's still not as clear as it should be. To get it really.
Yeah, I mean, it's focusing on my hand. Great.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes that just happens. I understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to take pictures.
I can get good pictures with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can take great pictures with this camera, so I'll do that later and put it on Discord.
Move your hand, see if it'll focus on it then. No, just focuses further away. And then once you get further away, it doesn't help because it's
Well, what kind of paints do you use there, TCG?
I have currently got some Vallejo basic starter kit and speed paints. Except I think he's all speed paint.
Okay.
I've got some Reaper skins because they make my local drugstore sells a few Reaper paints, and one of them is their skin sets, and I love their skin sets.
Wait, okay. First off, drugstore, really?
That's what it's literally called, the drugstore. That has been its name since it first opened back into literally back in the 1930s. Back when cameras still used the flash powder, old, and it's been called the drugstore ever since.
That's cool as hell. Because I can only get them through the mail and.
Okay, I've never.
That's actually where I got the. Don't fall over, please. These two minis. These are metal minis.
From the drugstore.
Yep.
So, someone who
You
owns
have to find out who owns that place or who does the ordering, and get in good with them so that they can start bringing in other stuff to the shop. Because it sounds like
I'm gonna have to. Like they don't sell. They even sell some Tamiya paints, but they don't sell any Tamiya modeling glue. I need to, like you said, I need to get in good with them. See about getting them to sell some glue too, because they sell a lot of miniatures that come unassembled. That'd be great for having some glue.
Or you're gonna have to at least ask, special order it for you.
Oh yeah.
If they're ordering the paints, it comes from the same place. So
yeah. Well, no, I just wish that sometimes, the problem is a lot of people's like, well, just go get this, and like, well, it's easier, unless a lot of people are buying it, then you a lot of times they're going to lose money, and they're like, that's not worth it to us. So.
Yeah, my local Hobby Lobby where I get a lot of stuff, they only carry Vallejo paints, and they have not restocked the shelf in the 12 years that I've lived here.
Hey Justin, I found a bust of you.
So
on a good day.
Apparently the Lich also comes from.
That? Okay, hold on. Go ahead, Omen, but I need to see this.
Oh, that's
it is.
That's fine.
What the hell is that?
Turn it to face it.
Yeah. Turn it, yeah, I like that better. Yeah, you know what? You need to put a good moth so you can actually see the mouth inside of there.
I'm gonna. This thing is literally my first attempt at slap chopping. I need to get a little bit.
Okay.
I need to put some more onto it so it's not everything doesn't go black, because that's what happens when I use speed paint and black.
Yeah, you definitely need a little bit more white in the dry brush.
But I just ordered a set of. Sorry, what?
Is that a kit or a 3D print?
Kit. It is here. Let me go out of the box.
Okay, because I want like 2 of them.
So apparently they're talking about the death of Halpin Fraser.
Problem with Shadow.
Mashoff?
I watched your video talking about Reaper Bones. You actually saved me a whole lot of headache because I didn't spray paint this thing to prime it.
Okay, is it Bones black or Bones white?
Gray.
Okay,
I can tell you the spray. I tested it on the very bottom here. It went tacky.
Okay, so it's not white, but
no.
Okay.
Is it because I know that they started using seal cast for some of their stuff, so maybe it's that, because that tends to be gray.
Right. Well, Reaper Bones black are actually gray. They're not black plastic. It's more of a gray.
Yeah.
But if it's white, if the plastic is white, I don't want anything to do with it.
I know that they changed their formula for seal cast because people were complaining about it to make it a little more easier to work with.
You're not garbage.
I'm gonna Fall of Ruined Middies by Reaper Bones, who's the white plastic, which painted up great. I let them sit for a couple weeks. The paint looks fantastic. I applied a sealant. It looked great. I came back 2 weeks later and they were sticky and gooey. And apparently this is a known thing where certain varnishes react to it and they're ruined. Like they just look like garbage. You can't touch them because they're sticky.
Well, you think that there's a warning on there. Do not use X type of varnish. Only use this varnish.
Not only that, nerds, but they will start to droop. The plastic, it can't usually hold up its own weight.
It's drooped over, and all of the varnish is gooey and like bubbling on them. I'm so upset because I painted like 40, 50 minis in a month and came back to them later, and they were all garbage.
This is the paint on primer I used for this because, like I said, I put some spray on the very bottom here because I watched Shadow's video about Reaper Bone. And yeah, I use a primer that works great on any miniature, which is honestly just bare paint primer. Cheap shit. But it dries so flat it doesn't clog up detail.
Is it a brush
on? It did
on?
not dry on this. What?
Is it a brush on though?
No,
this is yes. But the primer I used on the bottom here for a test, no, that was a spray on, and it stayed tacky. You need a dry brush, the brush on, or according to Bruce, you need the Reaper brand of primer.
Okay.
So my Army Painter primer worked great. It wasn't until I varnished that I saw any issues.
Okay, so Army Painter might work better than okay. Admittedly, mine is cheap. I use it because it dries flat, but it is not miniature spray primer by any means.
You know what you might want to try, nerds, unless you want to just shit can them, is get a glass jar, fill it with LA's Awesome, and try to strip some of those minis and start over. Because it will take the paint off quite nicely. It might take a little while to get through the
I can restart them, but it's I don't know. It was like I was on one of my bursts of motivation. I got them all done, which it's hard for me to actually get things done. I just sit there and think about it all day. So I got it all done, and then they were ruined, and it's like it's so much effort to start over.
Take one, and put it in the fridge overnight. See if that helps.
Freeze one, cook the other, see if anything changes.
Yeah, try that. Well, temperature changes sometimes fuck with that stuff. That's why.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just I'm just as soon as I heard heat one, I'm like, oh no.
Well, it's definitely cold because some of the chemicals in that kind of stuff really cure fast and cold. So, and it doesn't require you risking anything. So,
yeah, like you said, they're pretty much unusable as they are. I mean, they're not unusable. I'm being a little dramatic, but they're super shiny and gross and sticky. So like worst case scenario, they're not any worse than they are now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys, going back to our original topic for this, is as you change bodies, because you're talking about transference, does that impact on how you would think for your characters? Like, does it alter them so they start becoming less and less human?
I think that depends on. Okay, you go.
Yeah, it depends on really the individual person / the method. If you use a method that leaves your human senses intact, chances are you're still thinking as a human. But if you lose many of your human senses, you start thinking differently. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll think robotically, but you'll think differently.
Mm-hmm. I think it would also depend on whether, it's the protagonist or antagonist in the story. You know what I mean? The players, they have their own agendas and their own way they want to play, and I wouldn't force them. I might encourage them, but definitely with the villains and the people around them, I would definitely show them changing, just to give them a little foreshadowing of what could be to come.
I was going to ask for things like, if you put your consciousness into something like a shark or, something else, which has human senses, but then it also has senses that are different.
Yeah, well, definitely if you're changing form.
Yeah.
I would say, you change. But
agreed.
If you're staying within your own frame of existence, I would definitely go with how normalized it is in society.
It's funny you put it that way, Justin, because I was wondering if you can transfer your consciousness technologically or magically, for that matter. What would stop you from trying to put it into something even better, like we were joking about at the beginning, putting it into a Terminator robot or, something vastly different from yourself, especially in a sci-fi scenario?
Well, that depends on how far technology goes within, we'll say in this instance, we'll say of a game. Mm-hmm. And that also depends on how far the GM is willing to let that go. Excellent example is Baron G-Rock in the game that I'm making, and we did that playtest. He said, could I immediately start off as a guy who put his brain in a jar? That is totally within the realm of my game, and I actually kind of like the idea of someone doing that in my game. So I said yes. But also within the confines of the same game, a GM can say no to that because he doesn't want that level of insanity in his game, simply because that is how I wanted the game to be developed. So it all depends on the individual, and there are also plenty of systems that don't support that. Like, you can have a bionic arm, but you can't have a full bionic body. You would go nuts. I can't name it listing off the top of my head, but I do know they exist. So And as for real
Cyberpunk
life,
does that.
I believe we go down to real life. It would actually be if you couldn't have all your senses, your normal
Nice
senses,
reference,
you
insert.
would eventually just go nuts because we are meant to feel certain things. We are meant to have certain reactions, and if we don't have what is natural to us, our brain goes, "What the fuck?" And eventually, we will have not necessarily a breakdown, but we will have mental issues of some kind.
I'm going to bring up the other part of what you're very similar describing is, how does that affect things like phantom pain and where people don't have a limb?
Yeah.
Well, how does your body start reacting? Does it just create and that's, some of them again comes to the cyberpsychosis or stuff like that.
Right. Depending on the mode of transference, I think would make a huge impact on whether or not you would even have phantom pain. If it's, if you're digitally reconstructed personality, I'm sure there would be code in there to eliminate all kinds of glitches, or at least they would try, or you could go somewhere and see, a cyber, therapist of some sort who would be able to remove the glitchy parts in your code and fix you up.
But by the same token, though, do you start dropping attributes? Do you start dropping skills when they start removing code because they're just trying to get it in a big group rather than just a single line?
Absolutely. Well, I would definitely think you would at some point cease being the original you and start to become something brand new. And I think that would also pave the way for, especially in a sci-fi scenario, to where you would have a whole new species of intelligent things, whether they're actually alive or not, different planets of, completely different types of transfer intelligence or citizenry that could be vastly different.
I would recommend reading the Charles Stross novel, The Glass House, if you want to explore those themes.
Well, another good one for that was in the game context. The Mechanoids from Palladium. They are humans that were augmented.
Daleks. Just think Daleks.
Oh yeah, pretty much. They were modified so much that they no longer had a human physical form, and they are pretty much brains in jars now. And humans were horrified by seeing this, so they were like, "Oh, okay, we'll just augment ourselves even further," which are horrified humans even more.
Yep.
To the point that humans attacked them because, to add insult to injury, it was a psychic race because they were created by humans to be the perfect space-faring species. So they were also psychic, so they felt the unified disgust by humanity and actually felt when humanity decided to betray them. So now these beings hate humanity.
Kind of, though, as I always kind of went, why wouldn't you just leave? That's why I never understood that.
Yeah, I agree with that one. It's like before that, I can see why the unified hatred for humanity from feeling the mental betrayal, because that's a strong psychic sensation. But before then, all right, these guys are assholes. We are superior to them. Fuck off.
Well, if you're already in space, why would you come back to Earth, especially Rifts?
Well, that was originally part of their programming.
Well, not only that, but you've got to bring that full circle, like the clans and BattleTech. You've got to have that big, final, showdown, and that, of course, takes eons so that you can play in that environment, so that you never have to actually, resolve that conflict, and you can just, that is the environment for the game or the story.
Well, for me is, it's just like, when you're looking at the 1500s or so, at a certain point, if you don't like who they are, you just leave. Like, okay, bye, and they all just pick up and leave.
Yeah, but
so long, and thanks for all the fish.
You're talking about a story, and you need what you call conflict for a good story.
Yeah, but like I said, the Mechanoids never interested me for that. That was of course, that said, is when I picked up Rifts, I only got the first few books, pre-1992, and that was about it. And then I just didn't like the system for Rifts.
We tried playing it in high school, but I could never get into it.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it for other stuff. I just didn't enjoy it for riffs, and some of that is there's just too many MDC creatures for me for riffs. But no, the other part that comes into it is, part of me goes, if I'm going to go into space, I want to go into space. I don't want to just come back home a lot of times. I'm like, screw you. I'll create my own universe over here. It's only whenever you come back, you start intruding you that we're going to be fighting, and it's like, but no, the line thing.
Yeah, you might like that novel I suggested. Because that happens a lot. People create worlds, and then there's like conflicts that based on that, and the main character is going through some mental problems, so he has to
Glass house.
Yeah, the glass house.
houses?
The glass house. I'll put a link to it in the.
I did write down the info.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it here for the.
I still need to go
Wikipedia
through
page so you
another.
can-
How many? I need to still go through several more audio books. I'm still
Hey,
getting
what's
through
up,
the
man?
Mike Moorcock stuff.
That's a hard science fiction book though.
I don't mind hard science fiction. It's just sometimes it's the. Actually, I enjoy hard science fiction more than I do the magical science fiction in many cases.
Yeah, the writer was a computer programmer before he got into writing, so he riffs on dead languages in coding being a big
COBOL,
problem.
Fortran.
Yeah, like dead languages being a big problem with like space travel and losing the ability to access like spaces and things like that. And it's like,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a. I'm
it's
trying to
interesting.
think, whenever we talk about transferences, it's kind of like, right. It's like, well, they don't like me, so I'm gonna go beat them up. I'm like, no offense, if I'm in an abusive household, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back until it's, that's just me.
That's funny though, because that's a very human reaction though. To want that kind of revenge and whatnot. Once you would think that they would embrace the exact opposite. There's like like you said, just leave. Screw you guys. We're gonna go out here and basically cordon you off. We're gonna conquer all the crap you can't. And someday you're gonna come to a wall and wonder who's behind the wall, and it's gonna be us. And you'll realize you've been our prisoners this whole time. Outthink them on a grand scale, but no, they gotta do the vindictive,
petty bitch thing.
Yeah, right. And come back and kick over your sandcastle.
Yeah, I mean, there's just it's but I mean, whatever we're talking about is, for me, a lot of when we're talking about transference, mental, it's like, well, let me go to places I can't go to, which is part of it. Like, let me go into atmospheres that human beings can't go to. Let me go into,
right.
like,
That's what I was thinking with the different species that could arise from that. Every 10 or so years, they'd come up with a new innovation that would allow them to make a better and better artificial body to where, it may no longer be compatible with the Mark 1s. You're now in a Mark 9. This generation is, vastly superior, and you could have a whole lot of different, conflicts going on because of that, and essentially, create your own alien races, but they'd all be technological.
But I wouldn't also. But here's the other part: is you say technological, but sometimes for the organic aspect, to me, is that's in there too. But the other point is like there's always trade-offs. So it's the kind of thing of like, well, if I want to go in the deep sea, I'll pick X animal, and if I want to fly in the air, I pick Y animal. And the two are just mutually kind of exclusive, which also forms on how you're going to think. Is it's almost like reincarnation if you're going to start looking at it, except that you carry on your memory each time,
right?
And so now you're
technically evolved, maybe to something greater than human through science, which is actually going to be what we're going to talk about next week. Is transcendent humans, becoming something even greater through science fiction.
I don't see conscious. I don't think this would work at all. I mean, even sending your consciousness to another body that has a different brain than the one you have, is going to be almost insurmountable to overcome. The way you perceive and feel. Imagine being, I think Rick and Morty did a bit about this, where, the super genius puts his consciousness into a normal person's brain and basically goes insane on the spot, and vice versa. Much less trying to move into a completely different type of animal, one that can swai. Okay, but your brain knows how to
Swai?
move your arms and fingers. Like, how are you going to move into a swimming or aerial creature? You're going to need such a long adjustment period.
That's the other point too. Is are you kind of stuck into your form because your brain can't adapt fast enough to it, or is it starting to become, are you starting to get into the biological with cybernetic, where the cybernetics are controlling a lot of the body, and you get a combination, or of course, Justin
Skynet was rebooting for a second there, so we missed some of that.
Oh, well, I mean, but the other part was also for for RoboCop, where it's like, well, you have an organic, but they've also have limiters in there on what you can do or what and so how do you deal with those conflicts? But yeah, you're getting cybernetics that controls on the body or not.
So who had wind chimes on their bingo card tonight?
No one.
I know. I got to talk to Bill and hurry up and get those printed out. Because then there has to be like a prize, doesn't there? Right? If you're gonna play bingo.
Well, a Nerd's Nerd is the best one for computer programming around here. Do you make an app?
Probably could.
Let's let the Nerd's Nerd enjoy her time with us rather than like trying to give her a task.
Yeah, I've already put her to work. I don't want to put another.
What do you mean? If she made an app that could be opened up during the show to play this bingo game, she could advertise it on it and possibly make money.
Nerd, bingo queen.
Yeah. I think that no. The whole point is, if when you're home, is you don't want to have to do your work. That's. Well, we don't know that, for Mac is, if you're going to put something in there, you're assuming that everything remains the same. If you put in a larger brain into something, then it can hold it,
Maybe they'll bring back, what was that called? Where they squish the cranium so it would grow as a child. Where is it? Is it Peru where they found all the people with the elongated skulls?
Maybe a couple different places.
Actually, they did that in France too. There's a lot of places that have done it where they've done the elongation.
Maybe they would, take your DNA and create a clone baby that would, potentially.
It can't be as bad as your country that in the 80s somebody did a test on premature babies. What's that third eye thing called?
The pineal gland.
The pineal gland, and saw it was underdeveloped. But then they took the test to normal babies, and nobody read that it was done on premature babies. So they assumed that these pineal glands were overdeveloped, so they started irradiating them to make them smaller. And you got a bunch of malformed kids out of that.
I don't know. That's what gets me is the fact that they even try these things, without reason. Is it's like, look, just because you have Dr. Mengele's in the world doesn't mean that that things should be done.
But you should actually look at the list of things that Mengele is accused from. The twins that were put in quarantine because they had the flu. Mengele worked during the Spanish flu. It's reasonable for him to put twins in quarantine, and that's one of the things he was charged with.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other stuff he did on there too. I'm not including the little tiny stuff.
Yeah, let's
but that's some of the big stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the big stuff is what we're referring.
Well, that was on the list of the big stuff.
Just because it's on the list, we're talking. There's a difference between that,
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff he was charged with. Like, I don't believe he made a race of viper dogs.
Sorry, Mac.
That had snake venom in their mouths.
I guess we're gonna have to put a warning label on the show for you.
But no, it's the Well, see, Justin, they also have to put something in so they can find you not guilty, so that it makes the guilty verdicts look okay. Those are the other problems that you have.
During the Nuremberg trials, all charges were assumed positive. You were prohibited from denying anything you were accused of or bringing evidence in your own defense.
Gosh, we haven't ever seen that before.
Lately. Oh yeah. Anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. But no, but that's the real question about this. If you can go through it, is why wouldn't you just create, certain animals that would have bigger brain cases? It's like, oh, okay, what's there? But the problem that you get with like Nerds talking about is, okay, a shark has a much larger area for sense of smell. Now, would you just be overloaded in certain cases if you get into that? Which again comes down to the point of.
I think at first you probably would, but I do believe that it would be possible to adapt to some of those situations.
Well, if we're going to take that route about it, then the shark brain simply can't think like a human, and instantly your brain is turned in. Your mindset is, I'm shark.
Yeah. That's assuming that gland is not just engineered into the new body that you're given, and not you're just put into the body of a shark.
Well, but even if your brain is
you got to start somewhere, right?
Human style brain, the problem is that you don't have all of the capabilities to use it effectively. That's what it comes down to, and then you're getting overwhelmed with that.
I understood their Mac. So I'm gonna shut the show down. We've covered just about everything I wanted to cover with this. I got a bunch of good ideas for future games that I'm going to be running. I hope you guys got something out of this one tonight. Next weekend we're gonna talk about the next step. Oh man, hey, sorry. I got to go hang out with the other guys on the Quantum Show. They're already sending me messages, and sorry about that. That's Alex.
I want to mention one thing. That's wrong. Chat can. You can be held responsible for things in the chat if you don't censor them.
Yeah, of course, that's a possibility.
But the room for questionable talk is a lot wider than most people like to think.
A lot of it is just that they demonetize. So, but since Shadow's not really monetized anyway,
right? But I have actually had shows shut down because of other people's comments, or I should say, guests' comments, and I'd rather just kind of keep it on a safer plateau and
well, earlier I was expecting some sort of comment from Justin because I'm wearing pants, but I accidentally gave you a crotch shot, so I thought my camera was off when I took my plate.
I don't care, man. I'm just messing with Brian because Brian's Brian.
Brian doesn't wear pants. Brian wears shorts all the time.
Oh, hey, at least it's
if
not a
we're
kill.
Lucky.
I don't know. I've only met him whenever he has his shorts on.
Brian wouldn't wear a kilt. He would wear a mini skirt.
If it's plaid, it's a kilt.
But it wouldn't be plaid. It would be hot pink and made out of leather or pleather.
That's a lot of leather, man. That's a waste of a good cow, you ask me.
I will say this much: is we need to get in shape, guys. Getting, that's what I'll get. Just so we can live longer. Nothing else. You can't just keep ballooning.
Nice, Al. And pleated. And 8 to 9 yards of wool. Wow.
Does anyone remember playing Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
The fourth one?
I have it. I have yet to play it though.
So
I don't understand.
Go listen to the talk radio station when they have Thor on, and you start talking about his wife. It's hilarious. He says, You know, he's
I
talking
think
about
you
his wife. He
can find
says,
those
my
on
wife
YouTube
says that
several.
it used to take
Sorry.
one yak to cover her. Now she takes 2, and she just babbles on. He says, "Woman, I'm trying to destroy the." You know, yeah, he goes off. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I haven't played a video game in a good long time, and
I
I've
think-
got a really nice stack of old video games that I would love to get to, but
I still
gotta
need to
find
do
a
my
way to not
Alien
fall asleep.
Isolation. Alien Isolation is the one I need to just sit down for the whole day and do. But I want to do that with my son so he can't go to sleep. It's like, here you go, son. And by the way, let's go watch Alien and Aliens right after that. So
I've been looking at Nebula's Fleet Command or something like that.
Oh.
It's
Have you ever played XCOM?
In this game you command a squad in spaceships.
Okay. Yeah, I'm saying it.
Squadron, sorry.
Still says early access.
Yeah.
But you know, the other, but I mean, I enjoy the. But those are some things like when you start looking at XCOM and things like that, when you start getting into sparks and stuff, and like, okay, and
yeah.
But overall, you know, a lot of it is I'm not going to allow characters to transfer too much, you know, in the game, and I don't like teleportation. I mean, there's certain cases where it's one thing if it's part of the race, but I don't like transporter because really it should blow up the ship as soon as it converts you to energy. So it's like, hey, we can convert to energy. You're like, all right. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if you do the Fifth Element, you know, where they got the DNA and then they went, you know, we built you that way.
Yeah, well, that was just because Star Trek had the sparkly.
That was just a 3D printer,
right?
That's
Like in the new Westworld.
Yeah. The best representation of early 3D printers in film was the opening sequence to Small Soldier.
Yes,
I remember the movie, but I don't remember the scene.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I remember that because as a kid, see, I've always been exposed to 3D printing since I was a little kid. The Universal the little soldier. I thought that was totally impossible. And then years later, I was a huge Jeff Dunham fan, and I seen Jeff Dunham in his 3D printer. Once again, I thought that was outside of my price range. About 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. No,
I mean, I first saw
at the beginning of the pandemic. I got a 3D printer because I got one because Prusa was only $400. Well, that's what
I saw the first 3D printer in 2003. That's the first time I saw a 3D printer.
Yeah, they're actually older than I am.
Yeah.
Well,
They absolutely are. But I was starting to see where the technology was coming down to the point that it could be more available for that. And I thought it was
that's crazy how Matt, Al, I should say. I've seen them print ears and fingers, and
God
only knows what's next.
1984 is when they were invented, or 83, something like that.
I'm a little disappointed YouTube doesn't have any updated videos about it, but they've actually started programs in NASA. I don't know how far NASA's gotten given what's happened to NASA of 3D printing food for astronauts.
Yeah, they did a thing for that. They had the powders or whatever in 2014 or something like that. But
yeah, the last videos are real.
I think it was a stunt. NASA does a lot of stunts.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they do up there. But you know, it gets me better as they're closing more and more stuff off. They used to have a lot of this stuff that was open to the public. Like I went to the Stennis Space Center for a few years, and then after COVID, they just started. They cut off a lot of the tours and stuff, and it's just not as much fun as it used to be for that. I don't know about Houston. You know, stuff used to be a lot more open, and they've just been shutting it further and further down. How do you expect to get funding if no one knows what the hell you're doing and no one really cares? You know.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing is that they don't want people.
No, you don't understand, and I'm saying this is a lot of times what happens is that they do it for security reasons and stuff, and what happens is they don't get the funding to keep those to keep those projects open. Because I remember going to the stuff in Huntsville, Alabama. My son and I went to Stennis. There's stuff in Houston, but they start narrowing it down on what you can see, and the more that they narrow down, the less likely they are to get funding for that. And military funding is always going to be there, but we're talking about normal, commercial
Civilian
stuff
funding.
gets cut.
Well,
And
the thing is, L. Sorry. The thing is, L. Why would you want to print 3D print freeze dried peas? That's not what you're going to be 3D printing. The idea is being able to print a fresh, ready to eat meal that's going to be far better than freeze dried crap. That's the plan. That doesn't mean they'll ever succeed anytime soon, or that doesn't mean it's actually happening, such as Omanel said, because I'm a huge NASA proprietor, but I do know there's a lot of BS happening there right now. But that is supposedly what they want to do.
Now, here's the other part. I think a nerd remembers this is trying to get the MREs really good, and there's only a few of me but I do know that they test those a lot.
Oh yeah, and then there's the weirdo who likes the one everybody else doesn't, so he ends up with an entire pile of MREs.
You mean the vegetarian?
If someone likes the omelet, the vegetarian omelet, if anyone enjoys that, do not fall asleep near them. Do not trust them. You might as well put them down on the spot.
I was much more of I like the jalapeno cheese, and I liked the spaghetti.
The jalapeno cheese spread on the crackers was so good. I have cravings for it now.
Yeah.
Do you remember what generation it was? The
2020 is the last. Or 2019 was the
they
last
had
time
issue numbers on the bags, right? Because you could order them.
Well, yeah, but they got super expensive. They used to be like reasonably priced. Now they're like $15-$20 each. Like what the hell? Yeah, I had C rations too. They still have K rations, but the C rations left when they got the MREs. I had the first generation MREs, like the very, very first ones. Then they had like the chocolate nut cake and a few other stuff. It was meatballs and barbecue sauce. Like, why don't you put in spaghetti sauce? Anyway,
because the spaghetti sauce would eat through the packet.
No, it doesn't actually. No. They fixed that now. Now you can get it. But
I was just joking.
Yeah, that's
Put more
happening.
calories in the barbecue sauce because it has sugar in it.
You put sugar in spaghetti sauce. There's a lot of sugar in spaghetti sauce.
But a smaller amount, I think, right?
Yeah.
Isn't barbecue sauce like 40% sugar by volume?
Hey, what's up,
you know what?
Ketchup is like 70%.
You should make spaghetti sauce from scratch. You'll know the difference.
You know what? I don't use any sugar in mine. I just use baking soda because that will kill the acidity a lot of times. Now, Matt Thompson, I had C rations. A lot of them weren't bad. They were basically the problem was that they were heavy. That's why they got rid of the C rations, because they had a lot of metal. Oh man, if you had some of the European ones, like the French ones, you're like, what the hell? It has a little bottle of wine, and it was like,
I've never been in the military, but I've had a lot of military friends, and the long-standing joke is, get 4 in MREs. They're almost always better.
4.
Wow. I never liked eggs for the most part. I'll cook with eggs, but I won't eat just plain eggs. Ugh.
So what is that? Only a joke that the Inland Northwest gets?
And then
what's that, nerd?
I see. I'm the same way with eggs. Unless they're deviled, then I'll eat like 24 of those until I get sick.
That's the way my boys are. When
Deviled
come
eggs!
around
I
and
can make myself
deviled
sick
eggs.
off those.
I make like 4 dozen eggs worth of deviled eggs, and they last literally like 2 or 3 days tops. And
deviled eggs are about the only way I can do it. And then the only other one, hey, this comes back to but the only other one I can do is as I like having for breading. Then I'll use a bunch of eggs in the breading, but that's about it.
But that's just the egg white.
You, sir, are not eating enough deviled eggs.
I use the whole egg. And really you don't go for the egg white. If you're gonna do it, you want the egg yolk.
Yeah.
Because you want and then I'll make chicken Kiev, and it's like this big, but each one takes like 1 or 2 eggs for the breading alone. So I need to buy a new freezer too. I'm going to get a half a cow next month. So
Half a cow.
Half a share of cow. Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna hang it?
No, they're gonna cut it for me. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they're gonna do that.
And parcel it up.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. I'm
You
gonna
should-
say goodnight. I
Good
gotta
night.
use the little GM's room and do a couple things. Raven, I'll see you over on Nathan's show. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check out the Quantum Show if you're into the weird stuff in the real world, as opposed to the gaming worlds that we talk about on this show. Hopefully, I'll see all you guys again next week when we will talk about the next step for humanity and other life forms as well. I hope you guys learned something from this one. I sure did. So until next time, happy trails, everybody.
Party on.
Good
See you
night.
later.
I don't have my camera.
Shadow, I have a quick question before you leave.
Oh no.
Oh,
he's gone.
Sorry, left.
Oh well.
That's
Well-
what tomorrow's for. If you want to go play, in
I'm
his,
still here. I haven't
Bright
shut
Sea
down the
campaign.
show because
Oh.
I hit the wrong damn button.
Okay.
Go ahead. TCG.
Oh, that's funny.
What did you want?
His Bright Sea campaign.
Actually, it's kind of a double question here since
Red
you
light
busy
is on.
Monday?
Yep. We're still
Oh,
on,
yeah,
Shadow.
we're still going.
Shadwo.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just it was weird. It won't let me bring. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so
It won't
Crafty
let me
Gamer,
bring
what
my-
was
it
your
won't let me
question?
bring my camera back on. All right. Apparently the question's for off camera. So everybody have a great evening and a great weekend. I will see you guys.
Taco Bell.
Not tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow, but actually, that's probably going to be Jackie with his new release of his video. I'll post the link for that in Discord, and I hope you guys watch that as well. And as always, guys, happy trails.
Bye. Again.